All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, otherwise known as the Real Music Observer, observing real music in real time for real people just like you, just like me. Big breaking news. Well, not really surprising. Um, Woodstock 50 has been canceled due to the fact that they decided to try to make this into some kind of a concert that featured modern day pop and rap music, in addition to some older artists who were actually at the festival. You know, when you're bringing in Miley Cyrus and Jay Z, I don't look. You know, if you like that kind of music, great. Um, Go see it where it's supposed to be seen, which is probably at a festival where you've got modern day type performers. Woodstock 50 was doomed because, again, rather than just recruiting musicians from that era, or at least music that had some type of connection with it, and they tried to do that a little bit. They had Greta Van Fleet as one of the bands. The problem is there's not a lot of material to work with these days when it comes to music that sounds like the music we all grew up with. I've been a staunch supporter of Greta Van Fleet. At times I've had some criticisms of their lead vocalist, but for the most part, it's on point. It's an album that you can listen to. Both their records, I think, are very good. And I heard Eddie Trunk talking about this yesterday a little bit. There's some other band he was recommending. He went to go see in concert, and he said, "Yeah, Greta's good, but there's other bands out there." He continues to kind of, I don't know what the word is. He's not snubbing Greta Van Fleet, but it's almost like he's stepping over them to go look for something else. And he comes at this too as a guy who went on the air and said, I really need to spend more time with this album before I can really be judgmental of it. And this was following, I believe it was following their SNL appearance, or it might have been a little bit before that. I guess this rabbit trail has a point, and the point is not even commentators who are well respected are really promoting this kind of music. They're just not. There are plenty of bands overseas that you could find on the Frontiers record label. I've been promoting bands from the Paris Records label, and you could probably find a few more in different places on various record labels that are sort of, operating in anonymity, which is kind of a shame, but this is the world we currently live in. And Woodstock 50, you think 50 years, this would be a reason to try to recreate that event, but you'd want to recreate the spirit of the event. If you don't have Jimi Hendrix anymore, you got to find another guy who can blaze on the guitar. Somebody like, I don't know, Neil Sean could show up, either with Journey or with, different configurations. Journey Through Time, I'm sure, would do well at an event like that. There'd be other groups who could probably fill in. And if you really want to capture that, the classic rock essence of that time frame, it's going to be a tough go, but it's doable. You got to know where to look. You got to know where to look. But I think if you combine it with modern day pop artists, it's a loser, and I think that's why it didn't go off. It was also rumored that the venue, which was not at the original Woodstock site, was really not capable of handling, like 100,000 people. So again, the planners made some mistakes there as well. But right off the bat, when you announced that lineup, that was problematic. I mean, maybe you could have moved the event to like Woodstock, Connecticut or something. I know they have a large fairground there for the Woodstock Fair. I mean, there's probably something you could have done, at least logistically, to have the festival in a place that would accommodate the people who wanted to go. The problem is, and it's kind of late in the game, you needed to start selling tickets and you needed some big things or some big names to promote the event. And people weren't all that excited about Jay-Z and Miley Cyrus. So, again, you got to market to boomers too. I mean, boomers have money. I mean, they definitely have money. And because I've seen them at concerts, and the $15 beer does not faze them. So, if you make this an event where there's decent accommodations nearby, hotels and restaurants and so forth, and, you have the right people actually performing at the event, you could probably sell a ton of tickets, sell a ton of Woodstock memorabilia, paraphernalia, and everybody would be happy. And the people who are at the original Woodstock, they could go and see maybe a couple of the artists that were at the original, because they had planned on having a few bands there that are still alive and kicking, but it's not to be. Woodstock 50 has been canceled. So, no real surprise, but a bit of a tragedy in the sort of large scale of things. All right, see you soon.